Okay, dear participants, very good morning to all. It's 10 o'clock right now. And on the behalf of Gyanana Institute of Technology and Sciences, Jabalpur, very warm welcome to Dr. Abhishek Sharma, sir. He is an associate professor in Manipal University. Very good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, sir?
Fine, sir.
Okay. We will proceed now. Dear participants, Dr. Abhishek Sharma ji is a graduate of mechanical engineering from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur. He did his master's in thermal engineering from Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology, Bhopal, and he did his doctoral degree in mechanical engineering from National Institute of Technology, Rourkela. Presently, he is serving as an associate professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Manipal University, Jaipur, Rajasthan, India. He has been engaged in active research, particularly in the field of waste to energy, alternative fuels for internal combustion engines, renewable energy, air pollution, etc. He has also been principal investigator for research projects focused on conversion of waste plastic into liquid fuel, sponsored by Ministry of Human Research Development, Government of India. He has, to his credits, more than 50 research publications in international peer-reviewed journals, reputed conference, book chapters, and having more than 419 citations and H-index of 10. He has also been granted 2 Indian patents and 2 registered copyrights. And recently, he has filed more patents, and one of them is an international patent. I welcome you, sir, and it's now to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for nice introduction, sir.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to discuss about tire pyrolysis oil as an alternative fuel for diesel engines. So, how the waste tire can be converted into a useful form of energy. Especially, I'm going to discuss about the liquid yield obtained by the pyrolysis of waste tires. How we can use that yield as a replacement of diesel fuel. So in this talk, I'm going to discuss about the motivation, about waste accumulation, common methods of waste disposal. Then what are the new trends to solve the problem of waste. Then especially waste tire generation problem. What are the different ways? Earlier, what are the different methods adopted for solving the waste tire accumulation, and what are the current trends which is going on? So I will cover both things. Then particularly, what is tire pyrolysis process? What are the different operating parameters upon which this process depends? And what are the yield obtained, and particularly I will discuss about the liquid yield, how we can use that liquid yield in diesel engine, and what are the barriers for commercialization of pyrolysis plant. Although many plants are started, but some plants are running, but some plants are shut down. And what are the future scope, and for researchers, that what are the different things they can do further with this tire pyrolysis oil. So first of all, motivation. Why we are discussing about that waste tire or alternative fuel? So all those things. So we all know day-to-day life, the common problem is the global warming, because the combustion of fossil fuel, the combustion product obtained, that is CO2, carbon dioxide, and that is one of the GHG gases, greenhouse gas emissions, and that is affects our environment. Second is the sustainable development. So integration of energy, water and environment systems with a special emphasis on the principle of circular economy. So what is the meaning of circular economy? That how the waste of one system can be used as a resource for another systems. So thereby increasing resource efficiency and minimizing environmental burden. If I talk especially about the IC engines, so we have tried to use EGR, exhaust gas recirculation, because simply if we are leaving that gas into the environment, So in that manner also we are contributing towards global warming. Simply waste heat recovery from power plants, those heat can be used to reheat the water which is supplied to the boiler. So like that, so many wastes are there, so we can use that waste and we can enhance the overall system. Other is that waste to energy or waste to wealth. So waste to energy is a key issue of waste management system. From the perspective of the energy system, waste to energy will contribute to the development of a low carbon society, because simply we can see that what we do, simply we dump the waste or we burn the waste. Even in our day-to-day life, leaves are collected in gardens, and what we do, we simply burn. We think that we alone are doing so, what will be that much effect? But we consider as a whole. So imagine that if all people are burning such kind of waste, then how much we are contributing towards global warming. So we need to very much careful, and we need to think towards waste to energy. Then existing scientific knowledge technology should be used as a basis to further improve our technologies and to gain new scientific insights. So day-to-day life, in recent times, technology is also developing. So we must apply those technology, that how we can convert, how first of all how we can solve the issue of waste accumulation, and how we can convert this waste into energy, into wealth. So that is the motivation behind this work. Also the we are moving towards electric vehicles, or also we are thinking about global warming. So because all those things are affected to the affects environment. So the major threat to the sustainable environment is the explosive population growth and depleting natural resources such as water, forest, fossil fuels, etc., and waste accumulation. So basically I'm going to discuss about the how we can replace the fossil fuel by some non-conventional fuel, and how we can solve the waste accumulation problem by suitable technique. So to aware, I would like to start with this news. The waste generation problem in India. The more than 1.3 billion people in India generate the highest amount of waste in the world, and that is expected to increase sustainably by 2050 unless urgent measures are not taken. So this news came in Times of India, and we can see that how much waste is generated. So we must careful whenever we go for market, we ask polythene. As an educated person, first of all, we must try to minimum to minimum use of such kind of things. So so many some waste are there that we cannot avoid, that will come definitely, but from our side, if we can minimize at least non-biodegradable waste, so that will be a big contribution towards environment. So first of all, what is the meaning of waste? So in simple way, waste is defined as a discarded material which has no value in normal use or for ordinary use. So what we say that that is not useful, simply we throw that one, is waste in a common language. But as per EPA, the US Environmental Protection Agency defines waste as any garbage or refuse, sludge from a waste treatment plant, water supply treatment plant, or air pollution control facility, and other discarded materials, including solid, liquid, semi-solid, or contained gaseous materials resulting from industrial, commercial, mining, and agricultural options, and from community activities. So this is the definition of waste. So the origin of waste. So a broad classification or broad sources, we can say the different origins of waste. The mining waste, so where waste rocks, tailings, mine water, chemicals, and others are there. So to minimize this waste and to utilize such kind of waste, many people are utilizing some mining waste to make composites. Then agricultural waste. So some techniques, some methods have already been used from long times, that by using agricultural waste. So especially like some agricultural waste are used to produce ethanol, and other some waste are mixed with cow dung and is used to produce biogas. So these are the common methods which have been used from earlier times. Then industry waste, so textile, plastics, chemicals, ash, nuclear waste and other waste. So here also, if particularly we talk about IC engines, so waste generated from sugar industries. So those are also used to generate biogas. And household, commercial and government bodies, so like municipal solid waste, electronics, medical waste, tires and others. So these all are non-biodegradable waste. Then construction demolition waste, concrete, plastic, wood, metal, wastewater treatment. So even this sewage sludge, biodiesel can be derived from sewage sludge. So many wastes are there, and there are different options are available to convert those waste into some useful form of energy. So these are the a broad way of origin of waste. So this is fact. There are few things certain in life. One is death, second is change, and the other is waste. So by going through all these problems, we cannot say that waste can be completely banned, or we can stop the waste. Definitely there will be some kind of waste, but what is the our responsibility, that we must use such kind of reusable things, so that the waste accumulation problem must be minimized. And also after that, if waste is coming, so we must we must find out the solution, so that those waste can be used into some useful form. So why this waste are accumulating, or why the more number of wastes are coming? So the rapid industrialization and population explosion results in lot of waste disposal problems, which will be a great challenge to many countries in the near future. So increase in the population is facing every countries. So there are different types of waste, like factory waste, domestic waste, waste all from factory, e-waste, construction waste, food processing waste, biomedical waste, agricultural waste, nuclear waste, slaughterhouse waste. So these are the different sources of waste. So waste is broadly categorized in two types. First one is the biodegradable waste, so which consists of organics that can be utilized for food by naturally occurring microorganisms within a reasonable length of time. So the biodegradable organic comprise of agro residue, food waste, leaves from garden waste, from poultry farms, etc. So we need not to worry much about the biodegradable waste, because after some time that will be automatically degrade. But we must think seriously about non-biodegradable waste. So these are waste which does not decompose in the environment and pollutes it to a great extent. Such waste generally composed of plastics, rubbers, nuclear waste and their likes. These waste take millions of years to decompose, and they are the ones which are mostly filling the landfills. For example, we go for servicing. So we do not bother about whatever used lubricating oils are coming. What these people are doing, this service center people are doing, simply they throw somewhere. They will not bother about that how much impurities is there, where they are throwing that one inland, how badly that will affect the land and the environment. They do not think. But now the people are aware, and some distillation setup has been started. So people are distilling, that one distillation is going on, and they are again reusing. And even by blending with some other fuels, those used lubricating oil or used transformer oil are being used in IC engines also, or we can use in as a furnace oil also. So we must think in that direction, that how these kind of waste which falls in the category of non-biodegradable waste we can use. So these are the common, we know the harmful effects of waste accumulation. What we do, we simply dump somewhere. We do not think where we are throwing. But when rainy seasons comes, this waste comes to our door. Same thing happens in Kerala also. Nowadays, everywhere we are getting message that previously we covered the nature. Now nature is we covered the nature with plastics, and now we are using PP kit and some other things. So these are the problems. Also, the accumulation of these waste generates anthropogenic gases. Those gases are also very much harmful and known as greenhouse gas emissions and reason for global warming. So we must think seriously in this direction, that how we can minimize the waste, or how we can convert this waste into some useful form of energy, or how we can recycle these waste. So these are the common methods. So what are this one? Landfill, simply we dump yard all these waste. Morning time, from door to door waste are collected and simply we dump somewhere. Other things are there. The incineration. So in industry, some in furnace, some waste are sent to the furnace and it is burned and heat energy is used. Or waste compaction, or biogas generation. If someone is having a large amount of land and animals, so he can use his agricultural waste and cow dung to generate biogas. So in that manner, he is converting the waste into useful form of energy, and the rest of the whatever then byproduct is coming, that he can use as a manure. Other is that composting. So organic materials, so biodegradable, no issue, it will compost, or vermicomposting. So these are the common ways of waste, of solving the waste accumulation problem. So if we compare the old and recent techniques of waste management or waste treatment, so in earlier days, the disposal, incineration, this one is the common, but disposal is simply will put somewhere in dump yards. So that will be environmental disasters. Many times we have seen that automatic burning is started, or it will not happen then also, just by accumulation so many gases are gases come, so that is greenhouse gas emissions. Incineration, so in that manner also we are contributing towards greenhouse gas emissions. So the recent methods are biological treatments and thermal treatments. So we have learned, we have know many methods, thermoconversion methods. So by these biological treatment and thermal treatment, we can convert these waste into some useful form of energy. So which method we must select, that depends upon totally the feedstock. So these are the different methods. So if broad classification will do, so thermochemical process and biochemical process. So in thermochemical process, incineration, so direct burning in the furnace, and whatever energy is released, that we can use for many applications. Gasification, pyrolysis. So by gasifications, we can produce syngas, producer gas, and we can use that one as a partial, as a secondary fuel in the IC engines. So other technique is that pyrolysis. So especially in details, I will discuss about the pyrolysis. So the yield obtained by the pyrolysis, a liquid oil that can be used as a fuel in diesel engines. So biochemical process, fermentation. So by this, so agricultural waste. So even recently in Uttarakhand, a plant has been started where these agricultural waste are converted into bioethanol. Then anaerobic digestion. So by means of this one, we can produce the biogas. But we have to select the appropriate process, because we cannot go like we cannot produce biogas by tire, waste tire. Okay, or we cannot produce biodiesel by waste tire. So based on the feedstock, the appropriate process is selected. That at which process, if we will use that process, so maximum amount of energy, or we can solve completely the waste accumulation problem. So the coming to the main point, waste tire generation problem. So what is the issue, how these waste are generated, what are the different possible waste. So the number of waste automobile tires in the world increases every year due to the increase in the vehicle population. It is estimated that about 2 to 3 billion ton waste automobile tires are disposed annually in the world. Because of showcase also, nowadays in every house, in earlier days, we are having hardly one two-wheeler or one four-wheeler. But nowadays, if in a family 4 members are there, everyone is having their separate vehicles. So in that manner, first of all, population is increasing, and after that, priority of having vehicles by individual persons also, number of automotive vehicles are increasing. So because of these, not only we are contributing too much pollution to the environment, the waste generation of waste tires also, because after some time tires are having some life, and after that it will come to waste only. So the waste automobile tires are majorly disposed from the USA, European countries, Australian, Japan, China, and India. The waste tire is composed of rubbers, chemicals, steel wire, fabrics, and cotton. The accumulation of the waste automobile tires causes a severe environmental problem and also contaminates the soil and reducing its fertility. These dumps are indeed a serious threat to both the natural environment and human health because of the risk of fires, and they are being used as a suitable habits by rodents, snakes, and mosquitoes. Even sometimes inhaling petrol or inhaling burning of tires, some people feel very good, but you will be wondered to know that by inhaling this one, this tire pulses oil absorbs hemoglobin from human being. Also because of inhaling, if continue, someone will inhale this one, so men can become impotent and women can become sterile. So that is the various serious issue. So we must never burn the tires or plastic in open atmosphere. The burning automobile tires is toxic and harmful to the human being, and therefore it is banned in most of the countries in the world. The anthropogenic gases rising from the disposal area is one of the reasons for the greenhouse gases. So one of the simple way, even in our day-to-day life, we collect the different types of waste and we find the optimal solution is the burning. But we don't know that by burning, how we are contributing towards greenhouse gas emissions, towards global warming. So even so many kitchen wastes are there. So rather than simply disposing that one, we can convert into manure by keeping in small gamlas. So these are the very small things and common things which we can do to reduce the waste accumulation. So open tire emissions include criteria pollutants such as particulates, carbon monoxides, sulfur oxides, oxides of nitrogen, volatile organic compounds, and they also include non-criteria hazardous air pollutants such as polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons, dioxins, furan, hydrogen, chloride, benzene. So these are the different pollutants which we get by burning of the tires. So these are the primary pollutants, but we don't know that because of these primary pollutants, when they come in contact with the air, with oxygen in the presence of sunlight, they convert into secondary pollutants. So photochemical smoke, ozone depletion, acid rain, these are the secondary pollutants. So not only the greenhouse gas emissions and global warming, but also a threat to the environment is there when we burn the tire in open atmosphere. One of the major fire hazards recorded in history was in 1999 when a tire dump in Westlake, California burned for 36 days after being accidentally ignited by lightning, which caused pyrolytic oil to flow and contaminate nearby streams and water bodies. So already such kind of many incidents has happened everywhere. So we must avoid to accumulate tires and burning also. This is the case. We can see that year to year the number of automotive vehicles are increasing. So in this manner, the accumulation of waste tires are also increasing. So what are the common ways of tire recycling? First of all, like some plastics are there which are recyclable, so which we can recycle. So here also the most common way is re-threading. So what we do in this, the worn part is replaced by new one. So in this process, a new thread is applied on the casing of the old tire to use the tire in its new form. The thread is a groove that is cut on the tire surface, and it is used to provide friction between the surface of the road and tire. Then the other one is that end of life tire. So after that we can recycle that one, or we can use for energy recovery. So how we can use for energy recovery? Simply the co-combustion with coal to produce thermal energy, and it's used in the boiler to produce electricity. So the common ways when from earlier times the waste tires are used in cement furnace, so to heat and to get heat energy. Then the promising way is the pyrolysis. So the among all these, the pyrolysis is one of the most efficient way by which we can convert this waste tire into useful form of energy. So pyrolysis is one of the efficient techniques that is used to recycle scrap tires. It is done in the closed chamber in the absence of oxygen or very little oxygen, and this process produces liquid, char, and some non-condensable gases. So why we are thinking about the waste to energy? Because global energy demand is increasing dramatically due to increased industrialization, overwhelming rise in number of automotive vehicles, and growing population. So first of all, population is increasing, number of automotive vehicles are increasing, and same time fossil fuel is depleting. So that's why we are thinking more about the use of renewable energy to convert waste into energy. So as per the reports of International Energy Agency, the global energy demand is expected to increase by about 53% by 2030. So that's why many research is going on electric vehicles also, biofuels also, solar energy also. So we are moving towards non-conventional energy sources, renewable sources. So currently approximately 86.3% of world energy demand is fulfilled by fossil fuel, in which crude oil supports by about 32.6%, whereas coal and natural gas by about 30% and 23.7% respectively. So after doing all those things, the contribution by the non-conventional energy sources, the contribution is by about 13 to 14% only. So this contribution we need to increase in terms of solar energy, in terms of wind energy, in terms of energy from biomass, in terms of waste to energy. So that is the reason we are thinking that how the waste can be converted, into useful form of energy. On the contrary, nuclear energy and hydroelectric energy contributes only small portion by about 4.4% and 6.8% respectively. So disposal of solid waste is one of the major problems which can be managed by converting it into useful form of energy sources. So first of all, if simply will dump somewhere, so it will acquire some land, and also that will generate anthropogenic gases, greenhouse gases, and we can convert this one. So by converting this one, not only we are solving the waste accumulation problem, but also we are generating energy, we are generating wealth by these waste. So how we can do? So pyrolysis is one of the thermochemical methods. So this method can be used to convert waste tires, and even different types of waste are there. So we can select this process to convert but sometimes it depends upon the some particular feedstocks where we do not get that amount of yield. So pyrolysis process is one of the thermochemical methods to convert the waste automobile tires into useful energy. The thermal composition of biomass in the absence of oxygen into carbon-rich solid and volatile matter is termed pyrolysis or thermolysis. It is derived from the Greek word pyro, pyro means fire, and lysis, breakdown or decomposition. So what actually happens in this process, the heavier molecules are broken down into simpler molecules in the absence of oxygen by heating, by external heating. So pyrolysis is a simple method to convert waste automobile tires into value-added products. In pyrolysis, long chain polymers are thermally broken down at high temperatures, 300 to 900. But basically, the previous research, we can conclude by seeing the previous works, the maximum amount of yield we obtain by the pyrolysis is by about 500 degrees centigrade. So into smaller molecules in the absence of oxygen. The products from pyrolysis of waste automobile tires yields 3 value-added products: tire pyrolysis oil, pyrogas, and carbon black. So there are 3 outputs by doing pyrolysis of waste tires. So first one is the liquid product. That one is commonly known as tire pyrolysis oil, or one second. Sorry, meeting. So first one is the liquid. So when some biomass is used, sometimes it is also known as bio oil, pyrolytic oil. So based upon the feedstock also the name is given, like waste wood is also used to convert in useful form. So that is known as wood pyrolysis oil. Some amount is pyrogas. So this gas also has some amount of energy and can be used as a fuel, and carbon black. So this is the process of pyrolysis. So we can see that in for what we do first, in reactor, tire is feeded, and inert gas is flowed to create vacuum. Pyrolysis is done in the absence of oxygen or in the presence of very little amount of oxygen. So then external heating is done. So these waste tires converted into vapor form, and those vapors are condensed. Then those vapors are condensed, then we get the liquid product. So suppose 1 kg of tire we are feeding, so by about 50%, 50 to 55% yield is liquid. Then by about 25 to 30% yield is the solid carbon black, or it is also known as char, and by about 20% is pyrogas. All 3 yields can be used for different purpose. So by this process we can convert the waste tire into 100% usable form. So these are the compositions of tires. So the pyrolysis process, we get the products. So pyrogas is also a combination of different types of gases are there: hydrogen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, ethane, propane, butane, and oils. So oils are condensed at when we condense oils at different vapors at different stages, then also the quality of oil varies. So if in a particular reactor we condense the oil in 3 different stages, we will get 3 different qualities of the oil. And char is also there. So this char after activation can be used energy storage material. Also this solid char, even some researchers had tried, by although blending is not possible, by preparing emulsion they have used this fuel as a IC engine fuel. This can be used for energy storage as an energy storage material. So in this manner, the waste tire can be converted completely in usable form. So what are the different yields? Already I have discussed. So basically there are three yields in the form of solid, liquid and gas. So liquid from the pyrolysis, this is also known as tire pyrolysis oil. So the amount of liquid produced from the pyrolysis process is the highest than solid or gas products. The color of this liquid is dark brown and has resemblance to crude oil. The liquid at the end of pyrolysis products consists of organic additives, processing liquids as a part of the tire formulation and tire formulation products. So the TPO has energy content in the range of 39 to 44 megajoule per kg, depends upon the feedstock used. So by this process, the maximum percentage by about 50 to 55%, whatever we get liquid product, that is the known as tire pyrolysis oil. So before using as IC engine fuel, we must see different properties. So one of that is the calorific value. So calorific value is in the a good range. So by about 39 to 44 megajoule per kg. And the feature of this liquid actually, this is the mixture of different types of hydrocarbons, but properties are more closer to diesel fuel. So that's why this fuel, this tire pyrolysis oil is used especially in diesel engines. Then gases from pyrolysis. So after the recovery of liquids from pyrolysis process, some gases formed during the pyrolysis process are left, which are non-condensable. These gases called pyrolytic gas or pyrogas. These gases are mainly composed of hydrogen, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, methane, ethane. So basically, these gases are also have some sort of calorific value and can be used as a fuel. So in European countries, what they are doing, they are initiating, they are starting the furnace by other means of heating by wood or by electric, and after that when these gas are produced, so they can collect these gas in gas bag, or simply they use this in furnace. So in this manner, rather simply sending to the environment, we can use this gas as a source of energy. Other is that char from pyrolysis. So this one is the solid product is also known as char or carbon black. So by about 15 to 20% we get char. So pyrolysis process gives an opportunity to recover carbon rich solids from used organic matter. In the case of tires, carbonaceous solid is formed, which is partially carbon black and partly the inorganic material added to the tires like SiZ and Ca. So these also have calorific value by about 25 megajoule per kg to 34 megajoule per kg. Depends upon the type of pyrolysis and feedstock used. Sometimes some researchers, they have tried with the co-pyrolysis, means they have mixed another different feedstock with the tire. So that on the basis of that one, the output products also varies. So this also has calorific value and can be used. And even some research papers, you can see that this char is mixed with the diesel, emulsion is prepared, and that emulsion is used as a fuel. So types of tire pyrolysis process. So there are different ways to classify the types of pyrolysis based on the operating conditions and environment, such as hydropyrolysis, vacuum pyrolysis, catalytic pyrolysis, oxidative pyrolysis, steam pyrolysis, slow and fast pyrolysis. So based on the environment and catalyst used, so many types we can classify, but the broad classification is on the basis of temperature. So on the basis of temperature, low temperature pyrolysis, medium temperature pyrolysis, and high temperature pyrolysis, or this one is also known as slow, fast, and flash pyrolysis. So what happens in low temperature pyrolysis? This is also known as slow pyrolysis or conventional pyrolysis. So this completely depends that which kind of output we want. We want liquid, more amount of liquid, or we want more amount of gases by the product. So based on that one, the pyrolysis process is also classified. So in low temperature pyrolysis, is usually carried out in combination with slow pyrolysis. This is also known as conventional pyrolysis, which has higher residence time, higher amount of solid and liquid products are formed, and lower amount of gaseous products are formed. So in case of waste tire, the maximum amount of liquid yield is obtained between this range only, between 450 to by about 600 degrees centigrade. Then medium temperature pyrolysis, it is generally used in maximum amount of conversion of carbon into biomass. There is a linear increase in temperature which simultaneously increases the conversion of carbon to higher yields. It can be used when there is more requirement of gaseous products and a small requirement of coke and tar. Then third one is known as high temperature pyrolysis. This is also known as flash pyrolysis. So it comes with high heating rate and small size of the particles. It helps in the rapid removal of volatile particles. It is the first step towards gasification of the biomass. These conditions decrease the tar yield. The process is a combination of both slow and fast pyrolysis depending upon the product required. Then the important factors which affect the output are temperature. So pyrolysis liquids yield decreases on increasing the temperature above 500 degrees centigrade. Then heating rate. Heating rate is also one of the most important parameter which affects the output. Higher heating rates needed more energy while the pyrolysis is time is decreased. Particle size. So if the finer particle size will be there, so in that case the liquid yield will increase. Types of pyrolysis reactor, which kind of reactor we are using, based on that also the output, the yield of the process depends. Carrier flow rate and type, which kind of inert gas we are using to create vacuum and what is the amount of flow rate. Residence time of the volatiles inside the reactor. So these are the some important factors which affect the output of the process. This is the some common types of some reactors. So classification, pneumatic type and mechanical gravity. The most common types of reactors used is fixed bed and rotating only. Even in our waste to energy laboratory, we are having fixed bed reactor and rotary bed reactor. So there we are converting different types of waste into useful form. Now particularly I'm going to discuss about the waste tires, pyrolysis of waste tires. So this is the compounds available in a truck tire. Natural rubbers is by about 28%, synthetic rubber is by about 16%, carbon black, metals, and some to enhance the properties of tire, some other additives are added, that one is by about 12%. So whenever we select any feedstock for pyrolysis, first we must go the proximate and ultimate analysis. So the result of proximate and ultimate analysis of waste truck tires, we came to know that volatile matter is by about 66.64%, fixed carbon is by about 27.96%, moisture content 0.62, ash content 4.78. Then carbon is 83.87, hydrogen is 7.09, oxygen 2.17, nitrogen 0.24, sulfur 1.23, moisture 0.62, and ash is 4.78. So this much percentage of different compounds are available in truck tire. So this is the setup which we have in a laboratory scale. So we use electrical heating to heat the reactor. So here we feed the waste tire. First we cut into small pieces and we feed this one. What is the temperature? For that we have arrangement and we can see the temperature. And here we condense the whatever vapor is generated and we collect that one. So this is the actual photograph of a small scale pyrolysis unit. So this one is a reactor. So here the after heating, the whatever vapor is collected here, when this cools down through the condenser. So this is the small scale laboratory type pyrolysis reactor. So how we do? So first the automobile tire was cut into a small number of pieces. So if the pieces will be much finer, so in that case, the amount of liquid will be more. And the bed and steel wires fabrics are removed. The fed chips were heated in the reactor unit in the absence of oxygen. Then a temperature controller was used to control the temperature. So basically, I did the experiment with the 3 different temperatures, 450, 500, and 550. So what I observed that for my case, I get the maximum amount of yield, liquid yield at 500 degrees centigrade. Then the products of pyrolysis in the form of vapor were sent to a water-cooled condenser, and the condensed liquid was collected as a pyrolytic oil. The oil was drained through the outage of the oil collection tank. So in my case, only I had one condenser. So at one point only I had collected. But I have visited some industry. They are having the 3 or 4 different stages. At the different stages, they collected the vapor, and they had get different qualities of oil. So the TPO was crude in nature. Approximate yield from the process were 50% TPO, tire pyrolysis oil, 40% gases, and 10% char to find the optimum yield temperature by taking 750 gram of sample in the reactor. So the recovered TPO tire pyrolysis oil, a mixture of paraffins, olefins, aromatic compounds, is a dark brown liquid and has a considerable heating value. Its properties are similar to those of diesel. Although this is the mixture of different types of hydrocarbons, means these fuels have some properties of what petrol has, but the properties are closer to diesel, so that's why research activity is involved in diesel with respect to diesel engine. Then the non-condensable gases were collected in a gas bag and used as a secondary fuel in dual fuel mode of engine operations. So this work was done by a MTech candidate. So the gas was collected and this was used as a secondary fuel. So this was inducted. These non-condensable gases, they have calorific value. So these was inducted through intake manifold and diesel was injected as usual manner. So in that manner also some amount of diesel was replaced by these non-condensable gases. Then the yield of pyrolysis process depends upon the different operating parameters such as type of pyrolysis, heating rate, reactor temperature, reactor design, types of inert gas used, flow rate, all those things. So basically we can see that when the temperature is increasing more, so the amount of liquid product is decreasing and gaseous product is increasing. So we must focus that what is the hydrogen and carbon percentage of available compounds in the feedstock and which kind of things we can get more. This is the photograph of one of the commercial plant. So in India, especially in Odisha, Rajasthan and Gujarat, many pyrolysis plant has been started. Even some the person who has this plant, he himself has by about 14 tire pyrolysis plant. The cost of initial setup of 10 tons capacity plant is by about 20 lakhs only. So what he does, so steel wires are removed. They are having all the automatic systems. So first they remove the steel wires. This can be recycled. This is not used in pyrolysis process because these are very hard and it takes much time and this decreases the yield. So they are keeping this one separate. This one is the reactor. This one is the rotary type of reactor. So here furnace is there. So this side the tire is waste tire is feeded and heating is done from here. So they do not use the pyro gas, whatever they get non-condensable gases. Some gases are there which do not condense. So what they do, they simply live in the environment. They do not care that what CPCB Central Pollution Control Board will tell, because they run the plant in they will take permission by any way, but they will not follow the rules and regulations. So what happens after some times when this come into picture, so they are asked to shut down. Same thing in in Europe, they are having, but they are having complete setup. They are not violating the rules and regulations. Okay, So then after that, there are 3 condensers are there. You can see that there are 3 points. So the 3 locations where the oil is condensed and used. So this is the actual photograph of the tire pyrolysis oil. So actually this tire pyrolysis oils are considered as a dirty fuel. These are not clean fuel. But if we think that rather than burning in open atmosphere, we are converting into in the form of oil. So in this oil, the percentage of sulfur content is by about 2% only. So in this manner, although this is not 100% okay, but at least rather than burning in open atmosphere, this way is better of solving the waste accumulation problem of tire. So this is the photograph. So different properties. So whenever we think about we can use this as a fuel or not, so some important properties we must check. So especially if we talk about the diesel engine, so viscosity is one of the most important property, because in diesel engines fuel is injected, and if we use higher viscous fuel, so in that case the droplet formation, spray formation will be poor. So in that case the combustion will not happen, or if it will happen, so in that case delay period will be more, or in that case knocking may happen, abnormal combustion may occur. So we must think the different properties. So in general, viscosity is the measure of internal resistance to flow in a fluid. The viscosity of tire pyrolysis oil closed diesel, but in some cases higher viscosity has been reported when truck tires were used. It is in the range of 2.16 to 17 centistokes. Addition of alcohol reduces the viscosity. So in generally the viscosity, most of the papers you will find the viscosity of tires varies from 2 to 4 centistokes, but sometimes some co-pyrolysis process is done, or depends upon the types of pyrolysis process or types of reactor, the viscosity varies. So diesel's viscosity is by about 2.3. So viscosity falls in the range of diesel. So that is not that much issue. Then water content. So it is measured. So that is the issue with the pyrolytic oil. Moisture content is more. So it is measured using Kulp-Fischer titration and can be as high as 15 to 30% weight depending upon the feedstock moisture content. So it reduces the heating value but increases the fluidity, and it also reduces the flame temperature, adiabatic flame temperature. Then density. So viscosity and density is very much important property towards spray formation. So the density of tire pyrolysis oil is greater than that of diesel. It lies in the range of 900 and 1000 kg per cubic meter. While in case of diesel, that is by about 830 kg per cubic meter. So it indicates ignition quality and specific energy content also. Acidity and solid content. This is also one of the issue. The pyrolytic oils are known as acidic. Different feedstocks have been used. Even waste woods is also have been tried. Waste plastic have been tried. Thermocoals are tried. So pyro oil consists of carboxylic acids. These tends to lower the pH value in the range of 2 to 4. Increasing the temperature reduces the pH, which causes corrosion. Then carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur content. So there is why about 40 to 60, because this only decides the calorific value and ignitability of the oil. So there is 40 to 60% and 70 to 80% carbon content in the fast slow pyrolysis oil respectively. Hydrogen is by about 6 to 8% and 10 to 12% in the fast and slow pyrolysis oil. Oxygen content is about 2 to 4%. So this is very good because this enhances the combustion quality. Sulfur and hydrogen content are very low. So sulfur content is by about 2%. Then heating value. So it is dependent upon the density and chemical composition. Carbon and hydrogen increases the heating value of the fuel. The tire pyrolysis oil has lower heating value of by about 39 megajoule per kg based on the feedstock composition. So heating value is relatively less than diesel fuel. Carbon residue in oil is higher than diesel. So when such kind of oils are used for long term, so more amount of carbon deposits in piston is observed. It causes formation of deposits during combustion. Flash point. So this is very much important for storage purpose. So it is the lowest temperature to which a fuel must be heated to cause vapor to ignite. The flash point of tire pyrolysis oil is slightly dependent upon the feedstock. Generally, these oils have low flash point and should be stored carefully. So flash point varies from 65 degrees centigrade to 90-95 degrees centigrade. Again, depends upon the different conditions like types of pyrolysis, process, types of reactors used, at which temperature pyrolysis is carried out, which kind of feedstock is used, what is the condition of feedstock, all those things. Then cetane number. And this one is the most biggest drawback of pyrolytic oil, and that one is the cetane number. So the significance of cetane number is that it indicates the ignition quality of the fuel. We know that if a fuel have high cetane number, so it means that it will take less time to start the ignition. That is ignition delay period. Ignition delay period is what? The time difference between start of injection and start of ignition. So what is expected? Expectation is that when fuel is injected, so within fraction of milliseconds of time, it must start burning. Why? Because if it will not happen, so more amount of fuel will be accumulated, and then sudden burst will be there. So that we commonly be known as that one is the abnormal combustion. So this is the biggest drawback. And the pyrolytic oil, the cetane number of pyrolytic oil ranges between 25 to 30. So if we consider, we think about any alternative fuel, especially for diesel engine, so 2 to 3 properties are more important, most important. Those properties are viscosity and density, then calorific value, and then cetane number. Even we can compromise with calorific value, like when sometimes we use gaseous fuels like biogas, syngas, producer gas, they are having low calorific value, then also we can use. But if cetane number is poor, so in that case it is not possible to use. So this is the biggest challenge. So there are some alternatives are there. We can use some cetane improver, or we can use this fuel when we can blend this one with some high cetane fuel. Now, especially I am moving towards how the tire pyrolysis oil was used as a replacement of diesel fuel, was used as an alternative fuel. So whenever we think about alternative fuel, many things come into our mind. So we think that we can convert this into alternative fuel. So there are so many things are there. So which fuel is available? Is it suitable for particular application? Because some fuels are there, we cannot use all fuels for IC engine application. And some fuels we may get like solid fuels that may be used as alternative fuel, but we cannot use engine. So that is in which state, solid, liquid, or gaseous. How it is explored, extracted, stored, transported, converted from raw state to commercial usable state. What is the cost of fuel? Suppose we get any good alternative fuel which is less pollutant, or which by using that one less amount of pollutants will generate. But if cost is more, then also we cannot use. How much is the combustion temperature? Because if more combustion temperature will be there, then definitely more amount of NOx emission will be there, because NOx emissions depends upon two parameters, particularly combustion temperature, and second is the availability of the oxygen. Then how much heat is released, how can be thermal efficiency of the process be increased, how much will be the fuel consumption. So like a fuel, if it has more amount less amount of calorific value, so in that case, for developing same amount of power which diesel develops, we need to provide more amount of fuel consumption will be more. In that manner, the storage tank must be in bigger size. So there are so many constraints are there. What will be the transport mode and facilities, how to store the fuel, what are the special storing requirement, what are the emissions and waste residues to be disposed, what are the rules and limits by pollution control authorities regarding emissions and discharge, where to locate the processing plant, which process and plant can give better efficiency and usable energy without violating the environment restrictions, what is the alternative energy route, what are the options, which fuel and which process for energy conversion is optimum under given local and regional conditions. So many things, so many restrictions, so many points comes into picture before selecting any feedstock that this can be used for alternative for generation of for production of alternative fuels, how much cost is associated, whatever fuels we are getting. So storage is easy or not, storage is safe or not, how we can transport that one, cost, so many things comes. So based on that only we select any fuel, any alternative fuel which we can replace by the diesel fuel. So in earlier investigation, so basically this pyrolysis was started by about 25 to 30 years ago, the tire pulses oil. And first papers which I have seen is that by P.T. Williams. So pyrolysis oil from waste automobile tires has higher sulfur content. The main drawback of TPO is its lower cetane number, which is in the range of 25 to 30. So 100% tire pulses oil use as a sole fuel in diesel engine is not that much possible. So this problem can be solved by blending TPO with fuels of higher cetane number. Other issue is that pyrolysis oil obtained from waste automobile tires contains aliphatic and aromatic compounds. In particular, they compose benzene. So many aromatic compounds are there. Because of that, smoke opacity is more in case of tire pyrolysis oil. Due to poor spray formation of fuel blends or fuel structure, the unburned hydrocarbon emission reported for bio-oil pyrolytic oil was higher than that of diesel operation. So why this happened? Because of the moisture content and viscosity also is very more. So in that case, proper spray formation may not happen. So in that case, because of incomplete combustion, the unburned hydrocarbon carbon monoxide emissions comes. So higher smoke emission was reported in most of the cases. So in earlier investigation, many researchers have tried the use of tire pulses oil when they blended with diesel and used as a fuel. So they reported higher smoke emissions. The presence of aromatic content and complex structure of pyrolysis oil were mentioned as reasons for higher smoke emissions. Then most of the researchers reported higher nitric oxide emissions, oxides of nitrogen. The reason mentioned was longer ignition delay. So what happens? Longer ignition delay means more amount of fuel will be accumulated, and when combustion will take place, so in that case, in cylinder temperature will be more. Also, by about 2 to 4% oxygen is there. Already diesel engine is run in lean mixture with lean mixture. So because of all those reasons, NOx emissions is more in some cases. But in some cases, they have reported lower NOx emissions also. And the reason was the presence of water and low cylinder temperature. Moisture content is there, so because of that, the NOx emissions is less also. Some researchers, they have tried to remove the moisture content by distillation, and by distillation the properties of the crude oil enhances significantly, and the results are better than using crude oil. But again, the cost associated will be also increased. So that is the issue. So pyrolysis oil contains phenolics, amines in them, which may be helpful to improve the oxidation stability of biodiesel. So the advantage is that the pyrolysis oils, they have phenolic compounds. So the problem associated with biodiesel is that long-term storage, oxidation stability. We cannot store for long term because it will react with the environment and the quality degrades. So what we do that one, we add some synthetic antioxidants to enhance the long-term storage ability, long-term storage capacity of the biodiesel. These are the 2-3 reasons. More amount of NOx emissions is there and stability problem. So that is the two issue. Because of that one, the higher amount of biodiesel we are not able to use. Some percentage only we are using. So this is the solution, that by going through this concept, I understand that if we use the pyrolytic oil, tire pyrolysis oil with biodiesel, so what is the benefit? That one side the cetane number is less in case of pyrolysis oil, and cetane, we know that cetane number of biodiesel is more by about 55, and in some case like palm oil, the cetane number is by about 62. So by blending with high cetane fuel, we can use this tire pyrolysis oil. The disadvantage of biodiesel is that oxidation stability. So that also problem is solved in up to some extent by blending this tire pyrolysis oil. So we need not to add any synthetic antioxidants. So the phenolic compounds present in the tire pyrolysis oil acts as a natural antioxidants. So based on all those things, what I did, I blended the tire pyrolysis oil from 10 to 50 percentage with Jatropha methyl ester biodiesel, because in India we prefer the biodiesel derived from non-edible sources, especially Karanja, Jatropha, and Indian government is also supporting to start to plant this Jatropha tree. And so I have tried on, because of all those concepts, I tried from 10 to 50%, means 10% tire pyrolysis oil and 90% Jatropha methyl ester. So similarly, I have gone up to 50-50, 50% tire pyrolysis oil and 50% Jatropha methyl ester. So this one is the complete setup. So this one is the single cylinder diesel engine. So here data acquisition system is connected, and this one is the AVL 444 gas analyzer. So by means of this gas analyzer, we insert the probe and we get the emissions like CO, carbon monoxide, HC, NO, O2, CO2, all those emissions can be measured by using this AVL 444 gas analyzer. This one is the smoke meter, AVL 437 smoke meter. So by using this one, we can get the amount of smoke opacity available in the exhaust. Other things here, pressure transducers are connected. So how much is the in cylinder pressure at each half degree of crank angle, that can be noted down, and we get all these results. Fuel sensors are there. So all those results we get through different sensors in Excel form, and then we can analyze the results. So this one is the specification of the test engine. So Kirloskar model is TF1, single cylinder 4-stroke constant speed air cooled direct injection CI engine. So these engines are also known as research engine. Particularly these stationary engines are manufactured for research point of view. So maximum power output was 4.4 kilowatt at constant speed, that is 1500 RPM. Bore diameter was 7.5. Other important things are that the type of piston is the ball-in piston. Compression ratio used 17.5, and the pressure at which fuel is injected is 200 bar. Fuel is injected at 23 degree before crank angle, before TDC. So these are the specification of the engine. These are some important properties. Although I have carried out the experiment with from 5% to 50%, means 5% tire pyrolysis oil, 95% Jatropha methyl ester to 50% tire pyrolysis oil and 50% Jatropha methyl ester. But I had get the optimum value JME-TPO20, so I am showing the fuel properties for 20% only. So here we can see that the properties of diesel. So the density is 830. Jatropha methyl ester are known as more, biodiesel are more known as more denser fuel. So this is by about 881. Density of tire pyrolysis oil is by about 913, and for a blend we got by about 887. So these are some important properties. So major properties whenever we select any fuel for diesel engine, that one is the density, viscosity, and cetane number. So cetane number was by about 52 in case of 20%, because for pure JME this is by about 55, and for a pure TPO this is by about 28%. So these are the some important properties. Some other compounds available, GCMS, FTIR, also all those things also I have done, but I'm not showing here. Then these are the photographs of the different blends prepared. So color is very dark brown color. Smell is also not good. So lot of scope is there in this process. So many things are there that how we can enhance the cetane number, how we can enhance the reduce the moisture content, or how we can remove the bad smell of this oil. Now, whenever we use any alternative fuel in diesel engine, then we must compare the engine behavior with respect to diesel. So basically, the three important parameters are combustion parameters, performance parameters, and emission parameters. So in combustion parameters, especially we deal about in-cylinder pressure, or that is also known as P theta curve, pressure crank angle diagram. So this is nothing. By seeing this one, we can identify that when ignition starts. So what I observed that JME has by about 10 to 11% of oxygen, so that enhances the combustion quality. Although TPO is low cetane fuel, but when up to some percentage, like when 20% TPO and 80% JME was there, so in that case, the start of ignition occurs earlier for JME TPO 20 compared to other blends. For JME, it starts much earlier because the availability of oxygen helps this one. Then ignition delay. So ignition delay is nothing but the time difference between start of injection and start of ignition. So when the fuel is injected and when the combustion starts. So what is the expectation? Expectation is that fuel, the burning of fuel must start as early as possible. So the lowest ignition delay period occurs for the diesel, and when the percentage of TPO increases, the delay period is also increases. Then other parameters, performance parameters, thermal efficiency. So thermal efficiency depends upon the calorific value and density. So we know that the calorific value is more in case of diesel fuel. So thermal efficiency was higher for diesel. Only with minor compromise, the thermal efficiency is closer to diesel only. Then whenever we use any alternative fuel, so rather than dictating or mentioning the term specific fuel consumption is not appropriate, because when we are using two fuels, like here we have used JME, blends of JME and TPO, both are having different calorific value. So rather than telling a specific fuel consumption, we break a specific energy consumption, because both fuels have different calorific value. So the overall contribution towards energy generation will be different for these two fuels. So that's why this is mentioned in case of VSEC. So definitely more amount of fuel will be required in case of blends, in case of JME compared to diesel, because viscosity density is also higher than diesel of these all blends and all JME, and also the calorific value is less than diesel. Other parameters are the carbon monoxide emission, unburned hydrocarbons. So these emissions resulted because of incomplete combustion. So if there will be incomplete combustion, so in that case, CO, HC and smoke opacity will be more, while when there will be complete combustion, more complete combustion, so in that case, more amount of NOx emissions and CO2 emission will be more. So these are inversely proportional. So these fuels already have oxygen in itself, so that enhances the combustion quality, and that results lower amount of HC and CO emissions in case of JME, and up to 20% blend with comparison to diesel. When more amount of TPO was available in the blend, means 30, 40, 50. So I told earlier that because of presence of aromatic contents, the smoke opacity, SC, CO emissions increased. NOx emissions depends upon two parameters: availability of oxygen and combustion temperature. So already diesel engine is run with lean mixture, and apart from that, by about 10 to 11% oxygen is available in JME, by about 2 to 4% oxygen is available in TPO. So because of all those reasons, the NOx emissions is more. Smoke opacity is also more in case of diesel engine. When we see other papers with based on the biodiesel, there will see that if smoke opacity is less, then NOx emissions will be more, like that. But here we are seeing that both is more. The reason is that because of aromatic content, aromatic content available in the tire pyrolysis oil, so that enhances the because of that the more amount of smoke opacity is observed. So overall, the summary of that work is that the cylinder peak pressure lowers by about 1 bar for the JME TPO 20 blend in comparison with diesel. So among all 5 blends, the result was more good for JME TPO 20. So I had compared all these results with diesel. It was found that the ignition delay for JME TPO 20 blend was almost equal to that of diesel at full load operations. The combustion duration for diesel engine was 38.34 crank angle at full load. It decreased by about 0.454% for the blend. At full load, the thermal efficiency was close to diesel operations. So for diesel, the thermal efficiency was by about 30%, while in case of JME TPO 20, it was by about 29%, 28.89. Then the BACC, brake specific energy consumption for diesel was 11.86 megajoule per kilowatt hour at full load. All the results is here at full load conditions. Then the BACC increased by about 7.8% for JME TPO 20 blend than that of diesel operations. The carbon monoxide, unburned hydrocarbon, and smoke opacity were lower by about 9, 8.6, and 26%. This is expected because the Jatropha methyl ester has oxygen molecule in itself, and that enhances the combustion quality and that reduces these types of emissions. But more amount of TPO is blended, so in that case smoke opacity, all those emissions increases also. So up to 20%, this is in reasonable region. So nitric oxide emissions was higher by about 24% for JME TPO 20. So most of the whenever biodiesels are used, so NOx emissions are more. So after going through this first set of experiment, I noticed that because of the other solutions, that how we can enhance the properties, the performance of the engines. So then the some engine modification technique I have done. So for that, as I know that the viscosity of the JME TPO 20 blend is more. So I thought that if a fuel is more viscous and if we'll inject little earlier, so in that case, the combustion quality, the ignition delay can be reduced and the combustion quality can be enhanced. So based on that concept, I conducted experiment with 4 injection timing for the blend. So injection timing set by the manufacturer was 23 degree before TDC. It means that fuel is injected when piston reaches towards TDC and before 23 degree. So what I did with 2 advancement and 2 retarded. So 2 advancement at 1.5 degree. So 23 is the standard. So advancements made 24.5 and 26. Little advance by 1.5 degree and 3 degree crank angle, and 2 retarded 1.5 and 3 degree again. So 21.5 and 20 degree crank angle before TDC for JME TPO 20 only, and compared all these results with diesel. So how I had changed? So this is the photograph of the fuel pump. So here you can see that SIMs are there. So as per the engine manufacturer, 3 SIMs were used for 23 degree injection timing. So by measuring the thickness, I understand that if we add or remove 1 SIMs, so injection timing changes by 1.5 degree crank angle. So when I add extra SIM, 4 SIMs, here 3 is there, one I add extra 4 sims. So in that case, injection timing becomes advanced 24.5. When 5 sims, then 26. And when I remove, then 2 sims, then 21.5. 1 sim means 20-degree crank angle. This is the photograph of the sims. By using this one, I had changed the injection timing. Then I noticed that among all these 5 injection timings, when fuel is injected, as it is expected also, the fuel is more viscous, more denser. So definitely the proper finer mixture will be prepared at advanced injection timing only. So with the JME TPO20 optimum blend and the optimum injection timing 24.5, the in next module, what I did, I changed the injection pressure. So injection pressure set by the manufacturer was 200 bar. I had carried out from higher side, from 210 to 250. If you'll go more higher, then also there is no use, because in that case, fuel particles will be injected inside the cylinder and that will be directly in the cylinder walls. So that will not take part, that will not mix with the air and will not release the heat energy, that will be reason for the carbon deposits. So we cannot go for much higher compression injection pressure also. So I have gone for 5 injection pressures. Then I got the 220 bar was the optimum. So after that, what I did, I changed the compressor ratio also. So set in compressor ratio set by the engine manufacturer was 17.5. So I had gone one higher and one lower and one higher. And among these, so by these 3 engine modification techniques, I found that this is the optimum things for the particular blend JME TPO20. So how I have changed the compressor ratio? So I opened the engine. So gasket was there. So by measuring the thickness, I have prepared another gasket and I have changed the compressor ratio of the engine. So this is the photograph of the gasket. Then whenever we use any alternative fuel, and if that run by using that alternative fuels engine runs, then also the problem does not solve, because we need to follow ASTM norms. So as per ASTM standards, we must run the engine for minimum 512 hours. That one is known as durability test. Then only we can claim that this can be used as alternative fuel. But because of the shortage of the fuel, I had not run the engine for 512 hours. So I followed the Indian standard 100 hours by about 98 hours. And before that, what I did, I opened the engine. I changed the all important parts. So like fuel filter, injector. So I had cleaned the piston. So that I can measure the carbon deposits after 100 hours. So I had opened all these engines, and then further I had carried out the experiment for 100 hours. So this is the loading cycle pattern. So the engine was run for one cycle, and that one cycle comprises in this manner. Engine is run for 25% load. So like this engine is rated power output of this engine is 4.4 kilowatt. So 25% means 1.1 kilowatt for 1.5 hours, then 2.2 kilowatt for 2 hours. So in this manner, one cycle completes. So similarly, I had run the engine for 14 cycles. So by about 100 hours, 98 hours, 100 hours, I had run the engine, and then I measured and I had noticed all those things. So you can see that picture. This is the cylinder head before test, after test, piston crown before test, after test. So what is the reason that this JME, the problem with the long-term storage ability is because of unsaturated fatty acid, availability of unsaturated fatty acids. So because of that one, more amount of carbon deposits were observed. Then we can see this the nozzle tip, fuel injector tip, fuel filter. So after 100 hours of the test, this much damage was there. Then further, by knowing the reason that the tire pyrolysis oil comprises phenolic compounds in itself, which acts at antioxidants, and I know that the biodiesel, the problem associated with biodiesel is long-term storage ability. So by knowing these things, I had tested the oxidation stability test also. So biodiesel is more susceptible to degradation compared to mineral diesel due to the presence of significant amount of unsaturated fatty acids with double bonds in it, which also affects its properties when it is stored for long term. So in this module of the investigation, what I did, I tested the JME TPO 20 oxidation stability of this one, but then also I thought that I found that the oxidation stability does not meet as per the desired standard. So in that case, I had added natural synthetic antioxidants, but the benefit with this one is that in case of pure JME, it is required by about 600 ppm, but in case of when TPO is blended, so only 200 ppm was sufficient to achieve the limit. So despite of the many benefits, many times in news you have seen that oils are produced from the plastics, from tires. Even many manufacturers have come, they are producing the commercial plants of capacity 5 ton, 1 ton, 10 ton. Even in our university, we are establishing waste to a big pyrolysis plant, particularly lab waste to energy, waste to wealth. But then also, especially commercialization is not becoming that much attractive in India because of the following reasons. So despite many problems, plants being installed in the last 10 years, only 50% of them are still in operations. But there are quite number of issues that make the operations of the plants unsuccessful. The following are the possible reasons: inadequate safety measures in operation and maintenance of the pyrolysis plant. So first of all, I told you that these gases absorb the hemoglobin. So when the most of the cases, these plants are set in outside of the far away from the city, but they are those the persons who are working in the plant. So we must follow the safety norms. So we must tell them to wear mask. So all those things is important, but here we do not follow. Other thing is that the pyrogas, simply we non-condensable gases are not properly treated by cleaning devices that are recommended by the central and state government regulatory authorities. If we do not follow, they will not allow us to run the plant. So inadequate training given to workers and laborers involved in the pyrolysis operation that causes accidents leading to shutting down of the plants. The wastewater that is generated in the plant should be properly treated and disposed to prevent any environment consequences. In some of the plants, some explosions also have been reported due to frequent opening of the reactors in the hot conditions. Poor regular and periodic maintenance of the plant, insufficient power supply to operate the pyrolysis plant, a scarcity of water, land and electricity, less awareness of the regulatory authorities and public. So these are the some challenges, barriers. Future scope, so minimizing energy input and energy losses for practical pyrolysis reactors. So one is that we rather than sending to the environment the non-condensable gases, we can use. So in that manner also the input energy can be reduced. The scrap tires should be properly cleaned to maintain the quality of the output products and to reduce the plant emissions. Suitable pyrolysis process and catalyst for co-pyrolysis that will yield better pyrolysis products. So this is also a key research area. So where we can find the optimum, the combination. So by which one? Like I have suggested one idea to my junior, and he has published 4 papers. What happens in campus itself? We go for tea. So many wastes are available, tea waste. So that tea waste, what we do, simply we throw that one. So what we can do when we have a big campus, so there biomass, the garden waste are there, these tea waste are there. So what we do generally, this garden waste simply we burn. So rather than doing all those things, we can produce biogas by all these waste. So some percentage of cow dung we take and we mix with tea waste and this leaf waste, and we can produce this biogas. And government of India is also supporting for decentralized power generation. Suppose we are having 100 acres of land in our educational institutes. So if we can produce the energy for our campus itself. So then also that will be a big contribution. Even in for running the mess, we can produce the biogas and we can use that one by whatever waste generated in campus itself. So that is there. So improving the quality of bio oil, pyrolysis oil for better marketability and use. So till now the use of tire pyrolysis oil is in the up to research only. Commercialization, the use in our vehicle, so that is not possible because of the so many issues are there. So that's why these oils are currently used as a furnace oil. The commercial plant owner, they are selling this oil as a furnace oil, and they are selling this oil by about 32 to 35 rupees per liter. So if we can enhance, we can improve the quality of this oil. So in that case, we can use as a IC engine fuel. So we can work towards that direction. Large scale production of high quality fuels and chemicals from biofuels, pyrolysis, or also so many chemicals can be separated, extracted from biofuels and can be used for some other purpose. Purification of pyrogas for cleaner environment. How much percentage of calorific value is there in case of syngas or producer gas? Hardly 5 to 10 megajoules. So same amount is available in pyrogas also. So we can use this one. Then purification of char or carbon black for further utilization. So this char, after activation of carbon, this char can be used as an energy storage material. So many work is going on energy storage. So this can be used as an energy storage material. Also for this is used in the refractory for industry also. So not only by treating these waste, we do not only do good for the environment, but also good business for the local and global economy. Even in Rajasthan also, I have visited some manufacturer. They are manufacturing the tire pyrolysis plant, distillation plant. So they are doing distillation of waste lubricating oil, waste transformer oil, and again they are converting into useful form. So that is not the properties are not much closer to the initial one, but up to some extent it can be used. So this is very much necessary. So first of all, we must try to minimize the waste. So waste which can reduce, like we can avoid the sometimes in many ads we have seen that rather than buying small packets, you buy a big packet, because in that rather than buying 250 grams, suppose 4 packets you are buying. So in that manner, more waste will be generated in comparison if you will buy 1 kg of any package material food. Then sometimes I have seen, or many people used to say that already many works have been done with biodiesel and no one is encouraging. So what is the use of biodiesel and so many things. So for that, I would like to enlighten this one, that even now research is going on in HL and how they can use this biofuels, especially Jatropha biodiesel as an aviation fuel. They can use in flight. So in that manner, India's first flight powered by biofuel landed at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi on August 27, 2018. So the test flight had taken off from Dehradun. Also, many plants is going to set, and even our minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari sir, here he is also suggesting to use the ethanol. Some videos you can see that where he is promoting that in Uttar Pradesh, many sugar plants are, sugar industries are there. So those waste can be used to generate ethanol and can be used as a fuel. So he's suggesting the engine manufacturer also, that manufacture such kind of engines where these kinds of fuels, the maximum percentage amount of the fuels can be used. So the SpiceJet, featuring a latest generation Q400 aircraft, had been flagged off from Dehradun airport by Uttarakhand CM Trivendra Singh Rawat. With the test flight, India has become one of the few countries like USA, Australia, Canada, who have conducted the test to use biofuel for flying commercial planes. So CSIR, Indian Institute of Petroleum, manufactured 303 kg of biofuel for 45 minutes Dehradun daily flight. So the flight burnt a mix of 75% traditional aviation turbine fuel and 25% oil extracted from the jet turbo plant. So that's all about my side.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, I am unmuting you all. You may ask questions one by one now. Kindly proceed with your questions. Please see that whether you can unmute yourself or not. Just be patient. I have just, yeah, and now you guys can unmute yourself. Please kindly check and please start asking questions.
I am R. Shekhar.
Yes, sir, please.
Sir, the pyrolysis unit, where it is available in Tamil Nadu, sir? Is there any pyrolysis in Tamil Nadu?
Yes, there are a lot of pyrolysis plants are available. You can now this is not uncommon. So in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, in Erode also you can get plant.
Oh, the tire pyrolysis or any biomass pyrolysis, sir?
Yes. Tire pyrolysis is also there, especially tire pyrolysis and plastic pyrolysis. So these two are commonly available. In Faridabad also some manufacturer are there. They are also supplying fuel derived from the pyrolysis of waste plastic. Or the in educational institute we can this is a very in simple way we can give this as a project to our students. They can also fabricate a small pyrolysis plant in lab itself, but only issue is that suppose someone is doing for a PhD, so they in that case they need more amount of oil, so that will be not feasible. So in that case we need to buy only.
How much it costs, sir? Approximately a small unit for some 5-10 liters if you want to manufacture, how much it cost?
That will within 50,000 that will come, but what we have ordered in our university, so we have ordered 50 kg fixed bed tire pyrolysis plant, so that cost is coming around 3.8 lakh.
Okay, sir, what will be the running cost?
Running plant cost will, yes, that will not see when we do the conventional pyrolysis process, so the process takes around 8 hours time.
Okay.
So for that, suppose we are doing electrical heating, for heating purpose, we need to give some input energy. So that will not that come that much.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
For running 10-ton plant, the charge for electricity consumption was by about 8,000 rupees per day.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, I am PV Ramanathan. Hello, sir.
Please speak loudly, not audible.
I am PV Ramanathan, sir.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Sir, while this pyrolysis process, certain vapors and gases are forming now, sir.
Yes, sir.
These vapors and gases, where we can use, sir?
See, by about 50% vapor and gases are condensed, and by that one only we get oil. Then by about 20% are there which we cannot use this one. So these simply we left into the environment. But what we can do now, many gas bags are there. So we can collect these gases in gas bag. Even biogas also we can collect if we don't want to use directly, or in educational institute we are having engine somewhere, we are having plant somewhere. So in that case we can collect that one and we can bring and we can use that one. So in that manner, we can use these gases, because these gases have considerable amount of heating value. I am telling you more than the syngas or producer gas. So in that manner, we can use this one as in a dual fuel mode. So that work also I have done.
Okay. Yes. Any environmental issues, sir? Because these are situated away from the cities, no, sir?
Yes, definitely. We just try to fix such kind of plants away from the city. But if we follow the proper rules and regulations, like the gases should not release, means reactors must completely any leakage must not be there, that gases must not be in environment. So in that case we can run. And currently PhD advertisement has come in our university. So 10th June the application has started. We are having a good laboratory. We are the oldest educational institute, 67 years old. So we are having a good laboratory. So if anyone wants to do PhD in this area, a lot of scope is there. Government of India is supporting in terms of fund also. So many things are there. So many waste products are there, and we need to find out the optimum solution. We are getting fund also. So those who wants to pursue PhD in this area, they can apply, they can go through the website, or if anyone finds any difficulty, they can contact me. We are having particularly waste to energy lab also, and we are going to set up center of energy studies.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any vendor is there, sir?
Good morning, sir.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Sir, any vendor is there, sir, from our side? I am from Bangalore, sir. So can we set up that fabrication setup, sir, pyrolysis setup, sir? Any vendor?
Yes, many vendors are there. If you want, I can provide you in Rajasthan, in Bombay, and nowadays some advanced like microwave pyrolysis. So within a fraction of within a very less time, you can get the pyrolysis. But that again depends which you want. You want more amount of gas, you want more amount of liquid, and what is the proximate and ultimate analysis of your fuel, of your feedstock. So depends upon that only we select.
For PhD purpose, sir, for student who want to do PhD, sir, for that sake.
So in that case, they may fabricate by their own. Nothing is required, only reactor is required. Reactor you will get by about 20,000 rupees, 20 to 30,000 rupees. Then some arrangements like temperature controller you must know. Then pressure and the arrangement to flow the inert gas. Then condenser and for collection for storage tank. So definitely within 1 lakh rupees you can fabricate this one. And also small plants are also now the manufacturer, they are also selling, but it is very difficult to find very small size like 5 kg, 10 kg. That is very minimum what we have asked. So that one is 50 kg only.
Sir, can we get any one vendor name, sir?
Yes, definitely. I will provide you the contact number. You just send me WhatsApp message in my number. I will provide.
Sir, another question. Is this pyrolysis for other biodiesels also? Suppose Jethro oil we want to extract.
No. Already that only I told that depends upon the feedstock we select the appropriate process. So these seeds, like any kinds of seeds are there. So those seeds we can get oil, and we can get with the available technology in easy manner biodiesel. But like after like suppose peanut oil, we get peanut oil. After that, whatever manure is whatever is there, so that we can give to the animal as their food. But you cannot give the Jatropha seed. That is toxic and harmful. So what we can do? We can go for the biogas is more appropriable process for that one. But we cannot go biodiesel production from tire or from waste plastic like that. So for such kind of process, gasification or pyrolysis are the appropriate process. So that's why based upon the feedstock, lot of, if we will see, no one can think that custard apple seed. How anyone can imagine that will means a small seed we will collect and will produce the biodiesel, but that also doing. Why? Because the natural ice creams that has become commercial, and they are producing ice cream in a large quantity. So suppose they are getting 100 kg of seeds of custard apple seed. So in that manner, they can produce the oil of that one, or they can sell that one. So that is there. So that depends upon the feedstock, which process we can select. We cannot select any feedstock and will do the pyrolysis and will get the optimum result. So that is the important thing.
Okay, one last question, sir. Sir, any good oil for this PhD now? Any innovative new oil, sir?
You can go for some co-pyrolysis. Like some of my students, they have worked with the bicycle tire and mahua seed. They did the pyrolysis and waste thermocol. So you have to go through some literature. You need to find out what are the different possible waste, and if you will apply for project also, you will work such kind of work, then everywhere people will appreciate, because accumulation of waste is one of the bigger challenge. And if we are solving this waste, and not only we are solving, we are converting this into useful form of energy, by that one, if you will go commercialization, we can generate wealth also, money also. So that is the issue. So I know one person who is running by about 12 tire pyrolysis plant. He has started one with one, and now he is supplying all those oils as a furnace oil in Gujarat, and he has started by about 12 plants.
Commercially, he is supplying, sir.
Yes, sir, commercially supplying.
Okay, okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I am operator from Telangana.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in the concern of Indian government supporting and encouraging the green energy. So for this providing running the plant, so the government given a full subsidy or partial subsidy for the running this plant, sir.
Sir, I am not understanding. Please speak slowly what you told.
Sir, for arranging for providing this plant, so government is providing any subsidy in terms of money.
Yes, yes. Government is providing subsidy also, and so many projects. If you will go through MNRE, so Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, so basically you will find 4 categories. So energy from solar, energy from wind, energy from biomass, and waste to energy. So as per our Indian scenario, climate conditions and other things, especially we are having solar energy, we are having wind energy, and energy from biomass, and this waste to energy.
Sir, one more thing, sir, the technical literature, technical support also will give government, sir.
What, sir?
Technical support for fabrication and for getting the materials, different process.
Yes, either you can go the standard one. Already the different pyrolysis plants are there, so you can go with the standard one. If you do not go that one, so you go through the literature survey, and according to that you can modify the process also, so that at which process you can get more amount of oil or the optimum solution. So that you have to by seeing the literature you can go through.
Sir, right now we start the plant. Suppose right now we start the plant. Where to approach that? Approach in the bank or we approach the government organization, the things.
Even in India Mart also, if you will go through, you will find many suppliers. So they provide tire pyrolysis oil. Even in our Jaipur also some plants are there, so they supply oil.
Suppose about Telangana, sir.
Yes, sir. Everywhere it is there. Nowadays, everywhere the plant is there. So you need to ask them that which kind of feedstocks they are using. So that only you need to confirm, and you can get easily.
So information and how to get subsidy from the government, or where to get, how to get all those things can I get from the these who are already running from there, no, sir?
Yes, yes. International also so many, like if you will go through University of Leeds, UK, and even in Europe, some countries name I am forgetting. So there also so many plants are there, and but the difference between there and in India, they follow the rules and regulations. And what is the issue? We always think, okay, chalo chalega, kuch aisa kar li, hum clearly we do not follow. So that is the reason that when after some time situations comes, so plant is banned. So that happens.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, sir, may I add something? Nagin speaking. Sir, actually, Paparita ji, if you want to start a plant on this particular tire pyrolysis, what you have to follow is that every state is having their own DIC, that is District Industrial Council is there. And you have to, yes, you have to go through that. And when you are talking about subsidy, there are two kinds of subsidy, one from center and one from state. So in general, it is called like Mukhya Mantri Yuva Udyami Yojana or Pradhan Mantri Yuva Udyami Yojana. And in general, you are going to call it as Pradhan Mantri Capital Subsidy. Pradhan Mantri Capital Subsidy or Mukhya Mantri Capital Subsidy scheme is like that. And there is one institution of India which is known as CGTMSC. CGTMSE. This CGTMSC used to cover MSME industries, sir. So the things what you are talking about, you are asking to sir, is actually related to CGTMSC, who are going to cover your plant, who are going to give you subsidy. But initial arrangement, all those arrangement, money arrangement has to be done by you. And then after, when you are going to complete your plant, then you are going to apply for the subsidy. Then only you are going to get the subsidy. At initial level, no subsidy will be there. Once you have established your plant, once you have started production day one, then after that only you are going to get the subsidy from the government. You have to apply. After that, within after certain time, after all the documentation, they are going to release the subsidy. Maximum subsidy which you can get is I think it's for 7 years in Central India, in Madhya Pradesh, and maximum what you can get is 40%. But that 40% will be on yearly basis. Initially, it is given at once, but now it is given it means yearly basis. They are going to give you as per your performance. What is your how your books are there, like that they are going to decide, and then they are going to release the subsidy. So every state is having their own subsidy schemes. You should go through DIC. You should go through the channels where you are going to have the permissions. MSME office of Telangana or Andhra. Like that, you have to contact you. All those details will be there on the website. Sir, Abhishek sir, any more questions, please?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, any water pollutants released from this process, sir? Water, these are impact on water pollutant impact on environment.
Yes, some amount of water is there, so that we need to treat before throwing back.
Heavy metals is there, sir, in water pollutant. Heavy metals.
Yes. Sir, I'm not getting your
Sir,
voice.
Sir, in this water pollutants, any heavy metals are present, sir?
No, not that heavy metal. Not in that manner, but some when we do the condensing, so that time some water is polluted. So that only, not any metal deposits or anything is there.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I think any more questions? Okay. So I'm closing the session now. Thank you for your questions. Thank you very much, sir. I'm extremely thankful to you that you have delivered such an informative talk, sir. You have shared your own research work among us that will definitely going to help us a lot. I have seen this that this is one of the hot topic in these cosmopolitan cities, because many number of tire pyrolysis plants are there in every city, wherever you can have a chunk of tires. Definitely, this talk has helped us a lot to understand that what we can do out of that. Finally, on the behalf of Gyan Ganga Institute of Technology and Sciences, Department of Mechanical Engineering, and the participants of FDP, I really like to thank you, sir, that you have spared your time for us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the invitation. And really, I'm happy to share whatever work I have done. And especially, I would like to encourage everyone towards minimization of the waste. So thank you very much. So
yes, sir. Thank you, guys. The next session will going to start from 12:45. So I request all of you to please join at 12:40. Thank you. We are closing the session now. Very good day, sir.